What I'd like to do, though, is talk about the Greater University Circle initiative that's going on in Cleveland, Ohio. I'm going to sit here and change these cells from time to time. And what I would like you to be thinking about, and what I would encourage you to think about, is that, well, this is an initiative that I'm describing that's underway in Cleveland. Much as Maurice has said, this is all replicable and certainly could be started up in Youngstown, Ohio, and Warren, Ohio, and many other cities as well. So this is an idea that's underway that's certainly replicable, and I would encourage you to transfer it to your city. So what this is about, the Evergreen Cooperative Initiative, is about building community wealth to transform, in this case, Cleveland, and change the lives of the folks that live in the underserved community in Cleveland, Ohio. It was an initiative that's based in University Circle, which is the blue line. But when you consider the neighborhoods around this University Circle area, which is a very wealthy part of Cleveland. The Cleveland Clinic is there, Case Western Reserve University is there, University Hospital is there, the Art Museum, the Symphony, Severance Hall. It's a very wealthy, totally not underserved, surrounded by a lot of underserved neighborhoods. So when you put that together, you go from University Circle into Greater University Circle. So the strategy here is to focus the anchor institution purchasing locally. The hospitals and universities, when you put all their purchasing together annually, they spend about just under $3 billion in Cleveland for buying goods and services, excluding payroll and excluding construction. And that, I offer you, that's also going on in your community as well. So there's already existing purchasing going on. In this case, in Cleveland, only about 300 million of that, almost 3 billion, is bought locally. The balance of it is outside Northeast Ohio, and in many cases outside the state. So why not focus that purchasing locally where you can? And that is part of the strategy. Create community new-based businesses. If there isn't a local business that provides that service, can we create a community-based business that's a startup to do that? Have it be green, focus on being modern and green and energy efficient. Link it to expanding sectors of the commodity, health, energy, food, waste, and green technologies. And have it be worker-owned so that the employees that work there also will own the business and ensure the financing and management to move this to scale. And a lot of the unemployment here is in fact probably approaching 40% in this part of Cleveland. But that doesn't mean there's a lack of skills. A lot of the folks that live here and are looking for work have been part of businesses that serve the steel industry prior, the other industries. So there's a lot of skill in reserve here, and the notion is how do we capture that and put it to work and let it grow wealth for itself. The goals are to create jobs in the neighborhood, 500, 5,000, stabilize the neighborhoods, anchor capital so it doesn't get up and leave. You know, worker owners are not going to offshore their job, not going to outsource the company. We want to promote asset accumulation, really for the employees. We want to stop the dollars from leaking out of Northeast Ohio, stabilize and revitalize the neighborhoods, including long-term affordability. Those underserved communities, the neighborhoods I referred to, think about creating a worker-owned company of folks that can go in there and refurbish those buildings, those homes, put them in a land bank, and then sell them to the folks after 8 years when they get their $65,000. Let them do a loan and buy a house and have a home and move into neighborhoods and bring in grocery stores and on, you know, the rest of that story. So the Evergreen Cooperatives were started. The first one, well, the first two that started up in October of 2009 were the laundry that's designed to process 12 million annual pounds a year of laundry for the healthcare community. The High Cooperative Solar Company that also installs solar panels, and in the cold weather does weatherization. So in the Cleveland Housing Network area around Cleveland. And then Green City Growers, it's a greenhouse under 5 acres of glass.
I'm Mary Donnell. I'm the project leader for Green City Growers LLC and Green City Growers Cooperative. I am in charge of the build out and design of a 5-acre greenhouse that will be built in an urban area. Cleveland has had a very strong greenhouse tradition throughout the years, and so this is sort of bringing the food production piece back. But it also, by providing job opportunities and asset building opportunities for neighborhoods, it helps stabilize neighborhoods, and certainly with the scale that the Evergreen model is looking for, it really can have a huge impact in this area. It also helps anchor food dollars and all the multipliers that come from those food dollars, from the jobs created, from local purchasing, rather than purchasing from California and Arizona, which is where most of the lettuce comes from. Hydroponic growing is very, very efficient. It has high productivity. And we also, with climate change, with climate disruptions, a greenhouse grown crop can really provide year-round, very constant supplies of produce where you don't have the disruptions that you have in field-grown produce. In this last year, Florida had very long periods of prolonged freezes and cold, and it disrupted the produce cycle throughout the United States. And I think with sort of dramatic weather events, greenhouse growing is going to become actually more and more valuable to produce buyers. We are using very advanced hydroponic growing methods. We'll use a float bed system to grow leafy greens. It'll be a glass roofed greenhouse with shade curtains, illumination curtains. So we're using, sort of state-of-the-art growing techniques. We have a 1.5 megawatt wind turbine that we are going to associate with the greenhouse to provide electricity. We are looking at markets within a 150-mile radius of Cleveland, which is in a commercial scale operation kind of definition of local. And hopefully we'll sell every head of lettuce and every leaf of herbs into really the Cleveland area. We are going to provide or create about 35 to 40 full-time equivalent positions, and over time the employees will be worker owners, so it will be a cooperative worker owner cooperative business model, which is exciting. So that helps not only provide living wage jobs but also build assets over time for every employee that's a co-op member. The profits will be distributed to the worker owners into what's called patronage accounts that are retained in the business until the worker leaves or there's some kind of triggering event, retires. But that money will accumulate and be allocated toward each individual worker, and then worker owners will also be part of the board structure. So it truly is a cooperative, and the workers will have a very strong vested interest in the success of the company. Cleveland has such a strong local foods movement that brings people together from all kinds of different approaches to the local food need. And this actually is obviously, number one, employment driven for an economic development benefit, but it also then can provide produce into commercial channels of distribution. The greenhouse is great because it also is year-round, and that means that we can stay in the markets, we can anchor food dollars here year-round, which you can't do with outside production. So it's just one piece of the whole story.